the airspace near LAX will be affecting us. Mike Rogers is at the desk. Can you give us a little bit more information about what's happening here?
Hi, you guys. Yeah, so this is the black car we're looking at here. It's 2018 black Nissan, and actually California Highway Patrol
All right.
just took over the.
It's been a minute, but we are indeed back, folks. Got a black Dodge Charger on the 405 southbound in the thick of traffic, Inglewood area. LAX airspace is going to influence this chase, but as of this moment, we do in fact have coverage. First time, long time. Know the gang. Welcome in. Black Dodge Charger, southbound 405. El Segundo Boulevard. It doesn't get much more crowded than this. We are back. Everyone. Chase, my friend, Handbrolo, Red Lightning, everyone, 7-8. It is that time. It's been a minute.
Which is going to be hard for the Sheriff's Department or CHP to be able to see inside there. Now,
Desmond Shaw will be on the call in a second. We have a brand new branding, by the way, with KCAL. They're doing now 24-hour news, so it's no longer Sky 9. I think it's all just KCAL. So new lower thirds, new graphics. Pursuit of a reckless driver. The want is DUI. DUI. Lots of birds. There will be many birds in the air as we have reached not prime time, that we have reached the 5 o'clock, approaching the 5 o'clock news hour. Every news helicopter will be above this in a second, including Eliana. ABC will be second, but we're still 405 southbound in the heart of LA traffic here. It doesn't get much more congested than this.
Right now, we're still under freeway speeds, but my guess is only because the freeway won't allow full freeway speeds right now. But his speeds really have been all over the place here. And this is, we're still southbound on the 405. We're now south of the...
What's up, everyone? Welcome back. Thank you all for rejoining Locust Nation. We have missed you. DUI at 445 is nuts. Yes, we continue to swerve around the highway here.
Because of the fact that there's so many people out
Eliana's not there
As
yet.
you can see, the traffic is very
But
heavy
we got a
right
good
now.
feed here, and we got some
this
LAX
person
airspace that's
really
going to be a
trying
problem here as we swerve with motorcycles flying. How many dirt bikes are on the freaking 405 today? Okay, we go all the way across the 405. Count the lanes on that, by the way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lanes in the most congested part of the 405.
Look at all this traffic, and he's still, getting away pretty well.
I personally get a little bit more nervous when they're on surface streets because things are a little bit more unpredictable. Sure. There's intersections. They could hit somebody in the intersection. So the freeways are just a little bit better because it's a little more predictable.
Fred Funkhauser, a lot of familiar names back here. Thank you for renewing, as always. We're in the HOV lane. I didn't know there was an HOV on this part of the southbound 405, but yet here we are as we swerve. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 lanes of swerving here.
Which is one of theirs out of Fullerton, which is usually typical. But right now I do have an LA County Sheriff's helicopter with them here.
Wow.
Well,
Tailgating.
Here on KCAL News at 4. This is breaking news.
Thanks. Yeah, I don't know where you can buy this hoodie. Maybe Underdog should make it available.
This is
Still driving along 405 southbound.
Says they don't know if it's a reckless driving person or possibly someone who might be intoxicated. And as you can see,
it is in fact a Dodge Charger.
To make sure that
Let me see if Eliana's up yet.
They can definitely see those lights behind them, obviously.
Nope, they're still in commercial.
About the freeway certainly making it a little easier for in terms of, I should say, safer if anything.
Right.
The cars, you see some cars pulling over here. Again, you will not find a more crowded road in America in this part. Manhattan Beach, Inglewood, 405 southbound, right around LAX. Heart of rush hours. We're pushing speeds now, 50 plus miles an hour.
Over this freeway, weaving in and out of traffic. And, there are limitations.
Hello,
to,
CV.
what they can do to stop this.
Welcome back. Sorry, so many of you were subscribing. It's going to be hard for me to go through every single name.
Really
but
quick, I'm listening to some radio traffic here. This person is on the phone with CHP right now.
Wow.
They've called 911. They're communicating with CHP.
On the phone with CHP as the chase is occurring.
That they are trying to go to the hospital. Apparently, the dispatcher is asking what that reason is. It sounds like they're not necessarily saying right now, but they did say they called in the 911, said we're being chased by the sheriffs. We're just trying to go to the hospital. And that may be true. It may not be. The driving pattern, the 105 to the north 405 to the south 405. Generally
we don't know. The want is reckless driving, potential DUI. On the phone with the cops saying they want to go to the hospital.
Who knows if that's actually
knows,
the case?
right? We'll be here.
CHP is now aware of that, though, so they may be handling this slightly different if they have reason to believe that somebody may be having a medical emergency inside of the vehicle. But the good news is there is communication with the driver. That's often half the battle, because what CHP will likely try to do is say, look, if there is a true medical emergency, pull over.
Sure.
We'll have an ambulance come meet you. We'll handle this. We'll take care of it. You don't need to, run from us.
Or we can help you get there.
Exactly. Or
Safely.
Or we can escort.
Sure
you.
doing a lot of
What's
swerving for
going
getting
on,
to the
but,
hospital here. I don't know many
so
hospitals that are off the
on phone with this
405.
driver,
Maybe Cedar
Sergeant
Sinai
aware of that, and so
on the
I'm
west
sure
side.
We may see a little bit of a different take on this from CHP if they have any reason to believe that there's a medical emergency.
Thank you,
Interesting
Nightbot.
the
That is
driver of
indeed a
this
Dodge
Nissan would be
Charger.
the one to call 911, tell them they're being chased by sheriffs.
Right.
And the reason they need to get to where they're going is they're looking for a hospital. And you know what, Mike? We've been watching this car go all the way from one extreme lane into the carpool lane and back. Here he is once again.
So,
moving through
geez,
traffic. He's even
really
had
picking up
opportunities
speed
to get
here.
off the freeway at times. But
Heavy
he's
traffic,
on the
birds
freeway.
all
We're
over the
seeing
sky.
I'm assuming it's a gentleman driver, but here we are again. Maybe another opportunity to get off the freeway. Let's see what he's going to do, Mike.
Right.
Getting
and,
off.
And as I'm listening to this, there is now a CHP air unit overhead as well. And they are trying to say, they're trying to get the dispatchers to ask the person, well, what
Getting
hospital
off here,
are you
folks.
going to?
Right.
So the dispatcher says, we haven't been able to get that from them yet. We're trying. So it sounds like, and there's a CHP helicopter in the shot right there as we exit the freeway here. So at Inglewood. So it does
Side streets are where the action likely usually picks up, as there are opportunities to pit, to spike.
Done behind the scenes with the dispatcher.
And Mike,
We're in, where are we? Inglewood Avenue.
Like 20 minutes ago?
Let's see. About 4:27 is when we launched Sky Cow. So and they were chasing it for maybe 2 or 3 minutes prior to that. So we're coming up on close to a half an hour of this now. And again, we went up westbound 105, northbound 405, southbound 405, and now we're exiting at Inglewood. So
I had Sky Cal went right over my apartment, right over. You see that scene from Top Gun where he flies by the tower? That shit buzzed the hell out of my porch.
It looks like they are obeying the traffic light here, stopping at the red. As you can see, the CHP officer is behind this person, also a motorcycle officer as well. But it's curious, though, as Ron was saying, it's very rare that we hear.
Yeah, that's how people get hyped. You're sitting at home and you hear a helicopter flying that low. They're usually going to a police chase.
In communication with the agency pursuing them, because usually it's it's maybe a family member or something who's trying to convince them.
I did see the Oklahoma pit, with the truck. There was 2 actually.
But right now, it looks like they're actually in contact with the CHP, telling them that I need to go to the hospital. But again,
Eliana's not in the air. NBC is live, but no Eliana. So we're going to stick with CBS here, or KCAL.
Because if that were the case in this case right now, I don't think they would be stopping at the red light.
Right, and I just heard an additional piece of information that there is a second person in that car.
Still obeying the law here.
The passenger is the one that is in need of medical aid.
Help. I'm looking online here. The closest hospital that I could see near Inglewood is Centinela Hospital Medical Center on, I think it's Hardy Street there. So they could be going there. It's not far from the 105 and the 405 freeways. So let's see.
Might be getting back on, maybe.
As close as they're going to get to a medical center that I could see a large medical center.
I mean, this is just a guess, but, as we were talking about, Mike, if this person did need to go to the hospital, there are means. I mean, they had law enforcement right there at their disposal.
Right.
If they really needed to, maybe they would have got out of the car at that stoplight and said, hey, we have to go to the hospital.
Purple Smoke says, I got an underdog parlay riding on this Raptors game, but too bad. Skywab takes precedence sometimes. I know the feeling. Trying to do my job.
They can at least get this person stabilized.
Thinking about going up to Salt Lake City for All-Star Weekend, but every time I try and do it, there's a police chase that pops up.
They can get a fire truck and an ambulance headed in their direction, which is just...
I did bet the
Right,
Nets
and
tonight,
just
if
to show
anybody
you guys,
cares.
we got off
Bet the
freeway
Nets
and now we're
-2.
going back north. So we've gone westbound, northbound, southbound, northbound. So that's where we're at. And we're on surface streets right now, and I am looking just in the general direction of where they're going for any kind of hospital. I don't immediately see one, but we are going now north into the city of Hawthorne. With CHP still behind them, we do have a CHP helicopter overhead calling this as well.
Very, very interesting. Now this pursuit on surface streets there, as Mike was saying, Inglewood heading into Hawthorne at
you got a little map
speed,
here.
25 miles an hour from what we
Yeah,
know.
Kyrie's out.
The
Yeah, I
driver
bet
was
him.
called
It was.
911.
It was.
Apparently the passenger in this car needs
The
some
line
sort
was
of
-5.
medical
It's just an
attention, and
egregious
what this driver told
overcorrection.
911 is that they were being chased by
They don't lose much
deputies,
putting in
and
Seth
that
Curry
they
straight
needed
into
to
that
get
starting lineup.
some
So
sort of medical attention right away. But what we've seen is no indication of pulling over, of stopping. As Susan
there you go.
was saying,
You can do with that with
they're
you so
obeying
please.
laws as far as we know. They're staying in lanes right now that they're on surface streets. Mike, tell us what the map there is on the left.
Yeah,
What
so
is that?
what we're looking at on the left side of the screen, I'm tracking SkyCal and just kind of the movements of our helicopter and where we are, just to
Sorry,
give people a
I'm
little bit
checking
of a
in on,
better idea. So you can see our SkyCal's Inglewood at Rosecrans right now. We're still moving north. These are some of the law enforcement helicopters that are overhead. So that's what I'm doing, is just kind of monitoring.
Oh,
where
wow,
we're at,
LeBron's
where we're
questionable
going. On the right side of the screen, though, is still that vehicle.
All right, we're still driving around here. Back to the chase.
Nothing terribly crazy.
York Bison's
up to
asking,
25
what did
miles
the
an hour on
Spurs do
surface
to you?
streets.
I just think they're going to lose tonight.
Haven't. Oh, hang on.
Are you hearing something, Mike?
Is Chris Christie on
Yeah.
ABC?
So now the person inside is telling dispatchers that they've had, and this is according to them, previous negative encounters with the sheriff's department.
Oh, God.
And that's
Here we
why
go.
they don't want to stop for them.
They're not-
So the dispatcher is told the driver,
Sus-
the sheriffs aren't behind you. This is just CHP. Pull over.
It's a technicality. We're not the sheriffs. We're CHP, so pull over.
They said we've had previous negative interactions with the sheriff's department. We don't want to stop for them. You know, we're hesitant. Then they're just trying to encourage them now that this is CHP, not the sheriff's
There is
department.
many divisions, by the way. There's the LASD, the Sheriff's Department. There's CHP, the California Highway Patrol. There's LAPD, LA Police Department. All different jurisdictions. All different rules.
This driver calling 911 and saying, my passenger has a medical emergency and I need to get that person to the hospital. And that's
Right?
quote,
We're just
unquote, why they've
CHP.
been
We're not-
driving so
we're not the
recklessly.
Sheriff's
But
Department.
It seems like
They may be
now
pulling
they
over
are
now.
finally pulling over.
Oh,
This
okay,
could
we're
be the
pulling
end,
over.
but
Maybe
now
this
they're
will
saying
end
that
peacefully.
They've had some negative encounters, as Mike was saying, with the LA County Sheriff's Department, which is no longer the pursuing agency, by the way. It's now the CHP. And they're saying that that's because they were not pulling over. But as you can imagine, this is a very delicate operation for the CHP because obviously, with the word that there was possibly a medical emergency inside this car, they're not going to try to pit maneuver this car. I mean, they can't do that because they could.
This is a tough place to do some ejectocito, folks.
Suffering some sort of illness or sickness or
Real
whatever.
tough.
But this is really
Traffic,
interesting because now it seems
Inglewood
like,
Avenue,
they just pulled over the officers,
CHP or
have their
LAPD
guns
down
pointed
there.
at this car, and we'll see what happens.
Is that a 909?
Oh,
No.
I was just going to say, I just think it is interesting that as soon as we heard that piece of radio traffic, that CHP was telling them that we're not the sheriff's department, we're CHP, and now we do see the driver pull over. So it'll be interesting to see it.
He's very picky with his,
though, so we'll see if they follow any commands.
And if I was driving that car and I had a friend with a medical emergency sitting next to me and I know they were hurt, they needed some sort of help, you kind of put that first, right? You want to make sure that this person gets the medical attention they need.
I want to make a quick, bear with me a second here, folks. Bear with me.
On 135th.
You'll see why in a second. ABC's zooming in. ABC's got a better angle of it. And ABC has, here, I'll show you why. I'm switching.
Those hands in the air. So they're looking for those two things. Open door, hands in the air. Perhaps they will ask him to turn the vehicle off and drop the keys. But this is the reason, one of the reasons why these tinted windows are illegal. It's vitally important in many situations for law enforcement and authorities to be able to
Better angle here. And we get Chris Christie in the, we get Chris Christie up in the, love Mike Rogers, but
they are unable to see what's going on in there, and that is certainly playing into look at this, a dog.
Oh, here we go. Is that dog? Oh, no.
Appears to be a female driver with a dog in her lap.
Okay, dog in the car,
She's
windows down.
her acting like she almost doesn't even realize what's going on here.
Okay, she's talking to them.
She's communicating. It looks. Correct me if I'm wrong. You guys have maybe a closer monitor than I do.
It's really difficult to tell.
I don't know. Somebody with a baseball cap backwards.
Yeah, it might be a man.
Yeah, we're not sure yet.
You can't really
it looks
see.
like a guy. And what's he reaching
Reaching
for?
into his.
What are you reaching for? Okay. Oh,
Keys.
oh, thank God.
Okay.
Preparing to drop the keys. Okay, the vehicle must be off, and theoretically, it could still be on if it's a remote.
No, you don't want to send a fur missile on the dog, unless it's another fur missile.
The CHP helicopter continuing tight orbits around this this intersection. Intersection shut down, southbound traffic getting by, but they have northbound Englewood completely shut down as they execute this felony stop in methodical fashion, giving this driver specific instructions that I think we could say at this point he is still not obeying. Here comes the passenger door.
Passengers coming
we have a
out.
driver-
Passenger door and driver's side door are open. Dog in hand.
Two phones in her hand.
Looks like a Frenchie.
None of this is good. He's walking away from those officers. None of this
We're just
is what
walking
is
to the
being
sidewalk with a French
That's
bulldog.
a French bulldog.
That is a French bulldog.
Frenchie. Oh, Frenchie's down.
Maybe
We have two phones out, Paul Pierce style.
Pants to stay up, but they don't want anybody
We're just-
putting his hands
we're just
anywhere near
chilling.
his waistband. So the stuff that he's doing right now, he's not acting aggressively, clearly, but it is not something the police want to see. They want to see your hands at all times. They want to see you compliant. They want to see that you're not a threat. And so that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to get the folks who are in this car to comply with their commands, which is turn around, keep your hands where we can see them.
We're just
Probably put the dog down.
we're
I'm sure
just
they're telling him to
hanging
do
out.
that. And she is walking toward them with the two phones.
And she's talking into one of those phones. I have to wonder whether she's talking
What is-
to a dispatcher or she's talking to a friend. She appears to be motioning that she's talking to somebody because she's not letting go of that phone.
She's got two phones out, just having a conversation with the CHP here, walking on over Paul Pierce style at the dunk contest.
For whatever reason, you can see them treating this very carefully as they try and.
There's a dog in hand.
He will have to be let go. Those phones need to come out of her hand. This is a very close.
Doesn't seem like she wants to.
face-to-face situation between those CHP officers. And
Tenuous
people
moments
who have
here.
already been on
Officer
the
is
phone for
directing
police
her
and
backwards.
have not been complying at any point this afternoon. One of
Give me
them
the phones. I'll take those. Thank you very much. Okay.
All right, you're watching Eyewitness
Now she's
News
phoneless.
Live.
He's got the dog in hand. We're backing up, backing up, backing up.
Want to be arrested. They are not acting aggressively. Let's be clear.
He's got her by the
Nobody
arm.
This is acting aggressively at this point. We're going to see how they handle this.
Now she's-
He doesn't want to put the dog down.
What is
She
going
didn't want
on?
to put her cell phones down. She
What is
didn't want to put
happening?
her cell phones down. They're talking to him now. It's clear he's not threatening the officers. He doesn't want to put the dog down. They're probably talking to him, saying, "Look,
Okay,
we'll
so
take care of the
she's
dog, but you got to come with us."
Being put into cuffs.
Because of what
He's on the curb. He
again,
has
this
the
is a person who
doggo.
was evading police, and for better or worse, he's going to have to end up complying with them. They're going to take him into custody. But you can see here, there's a conversation. Nobody's been wrestled to the ground. The woman passenger is being handcuffed to the right, and the male driver has been persuaded.
Oh, dog.
The dog for right now.
Oh, there's the Frenchie.
They're going to take him into custody.
Okay, so he's getting cuffed too.
This is how you want this to end.
And the officer with not cuffing him has the French bulldog in his right hand.
I've been watching this, and
Is the dog gonna get cuffed next?
Interesting that it seemed that
The dog is innocent.
They didn't know they were being followed. Is that your perspective
that
too,
would be
or do you
hard
think
to-
hard to believe? But they were really. It seemed like they didn't know.
Why? Yeah. Why is that officer's boots so high? He's got some big boots.
And or blind. I mean, look, anything's possible, and sometimes there are situations, and we've seen them where you have, people.
He put the dog back in the car.
Not knowing what to do when a police pulls up behind them. We have seen that in the past. We've seen elderly.
Okay, so the dog is not getting cuffed.
We're completely unaware.
The dog is going to drive away happy.
In this situation, it is a clear illustration of just how precarious policing can be, and how we know that these things can turn.
Was
on a
the dog
dime
giving back his driver's
what appears
license
to
and
be a
his
peaceful
insurance?
situation to something far more dangerous. And in this case, they treated these two with kid glove care.
Can you imagine if the pursuits
Clearly
continued?
negotiating to give up as peacefully as possible, not taking any rash actions, and not wrestling anybody to the ground, despite the fact that their hands were not in the air. There were a lot of factors here that they had to weigh out, but those two are outnumbered by the number of officers. There was no observation of a threat, and as long as they weren't threatening, there was a conversation. The dog has been peacefully surrendered.
Dog is. Oh, I thought it has been peacefully surrendered. It didn't surrender itself.
place of
Chris.
de-escalation. We've heard all this discussion in recent months about law enforcement tactics when dealing with someone who's.
Can you imagine if that car started driving away? I would lose my shit. If that car starts rolling, I will lose my shit.
The guy, they got him to give up the dog. Everybody is.
They're watching that dog like, don't you dare touch that gas pedal. Don't you do it.
Reno County sheriff's deputies have been killed in the line of duty just in the last couple of weeks. So it is a hazard. Every interaction has that potential. In that environment, these folks responded everybody stayed calm, which is great.
Hey there, Mark and Giovanni, getting information now from our desk that she is claiming, this is all per radio traffic, so bear that in mind, but she is claiming she is 5 months pregnant, and what was that? She's having abdominal pain. So
9 months pregnant, having abdominal pain.
It's very possible that they were just trying to get to a doctor or hospital and were spooked by these officers. I mean, it's unclear. Again, the initial report was a possible.
Oh, 5 months. You say 5 or 9?
If she is experiencing a medical emergency, that would, could explain some of the rationale behind the wheel. We understand that the fire department is being dispatched, so an ambulance is on the way. And what this could be, if those reports are true, is it could be a medical emergency. Now, even when there's a medical emergency in the vehicle, you still need to pull over for the police, or at the very least, I mean, you wouldn't be going up and down the 405 freeway. You would expect they would have pulled in to a hospital by now. But in any case, that may be what we're dealing with here, guys.
All right. Well, it has ended without violence. Everybody's going to go home. Hopefully, everybody's going to be okay. And that is the end of that pursuit. That discussion still taking place.
All right, folks, we are code 4. Doggo.
News at 5.
Doggo is innocent.
Now, a vigil will get underway in.
Until next time, my friends. Turn your noties on if you haven't already. Follow the account. Push notifications. You'll be notified the next time that we do a chase. Till next time, my friends. Hoops are on. See you later.